So today, guys, we'll be dealing with inverse of a function. So first, what is an inverse? So an inverse is a reflection in the line y equals to x. Is the reflection an inverse is a reflection in the line y equals to x. So a function, yesterday we did a definition of a function. Not yesterday, I gave you notes the definition of a function. So a function is written in the form of, let's take f of x, g of x, h of x. We can use any. So let's take f of x. A function is written in the form of f of x, ax plus c. Okay, let me write it the right way. A function is written in the form of f of x equals to ax plus c. It can be written like this, like the equation of a linear function. F of x can be written in the form of m of x plus c. So an inverse of a function is written in the form of f to the power. It's written in the form of f inverse of f of x. F inverse in the form of x. So that means, okay, let me give you an example. Examples, let's take we have f of x. F of x equals to 2 of x plus 1. Here comes the question. Draw the graph of f of x and its inverse. Okay, let me just write. Draw the graph of f of x and the inverse of f of x. Please, there's a difference between the reciprocal of f of x and the inverse. So this, the inverse of f of x, it's not equal to the reciprocal of f of x. Please bear in mind. So for us to draw the graph of the inverse of f of x, we must first, here are the steps to find the inverse of a function. Step 1. Step 1, you write f of x as you write f of x as y equals to 2x plus 1. And then step number 2, to get the inverse, you reflect the graph in the line y equals to x. Remember the definition of an inverse is a reflection in the line y equals to x. So wherever there is x, you substitute by y. Let's select the graph. In the line y equals to, sorry for this, in the line y equals to x. And then the final step, you make y the subject of the formula, or make y the subject of the equation. You make y the subject so we're dealing with inverse linear functions, yes. So they said we must draw the graph of f of x, which is 2x plus 1, and the inverse of f of x. So first, let's write f of x. Let's write f of x in the form y. Y equals to 2x plus 1. Now, step number 2, interchange x and y. So wherever there is y, you substitute by x equals to 2y plus 1. Step number 3, you make y the subject of the formula. So x minus 1 equals to 2y. And then we divide both sides by 2. We're going to have 1 over 2x minus 1 over 2 equals to y. This is y equals to 1 over 2x minus 1 over 2. And then we write this as our inverse of f of x. The inverse of f of x equals to 1 over 2x minus 1 over 2. So remember yesterday, to draw any graph, you must first find the x and y intercept. So let's first find the x and y intercept of f of x. Let's start with f of x. And then the y-intercept. Remember, for y-intercept, you make x equals to 0. So y equals to 2 into 0 plus 1. So y equals to 1, and then we'll have our point at 0 is to 1. And then for x-intercept, you make y equals to 0. So 0 equals to 2x plus 1. And I'm going to have minus 1 equals to 2x. And then minus 1. We divide both sides by 2. Minus 1 over 2 equals to x. And then our point will be negative half is to 0. This is our point of intersection for the graph f of x. Now let's go to the inverse of f of x. So here's our equation. The inverse of f of x is, the equation is equals to 1 over 2x minus half. So for the inverse of f of x, and then we have for y-intercept, for every y-intercept you make x equals to 0. So y equals to 1 over 2 into 0 minus half. So this is going to give us half. Y is equal to half. And then our coordinate will be 0 to 1 over 2. And then for x-intercept, you make y equals to 0. Like we were doing this yesterday. For every intercept, if it's x-intercept, you make y equals to 0. If it's y-intercept, make x equals to 0. So you make y equals to 0. We have 1 over 2x minus 1 over 2. So 1 over 2 to the other side. 1 over 2 is equals to 1 over 2x. And then we divide both sides by 1 over 2. And then we're going to get the 1 equals to x. And our point will be 1 is to 0. Now we're going to plot our graph. So our first graph is for f of x equals to 2x plus 1. So let's just write it like this. Sorry. Let's write it like this. And then let's go back to our point of intersection of f of x. We have 0 is to 1 and minus half is to 0. Zero is to 1. We have a point there. Then we have our 1 here. So our graph will be like this. Sorry, I'm not using a ruler. One. Then our graph will be like this. So the point so this is the graph of f of x equals to 2x plus 1. Now let's check our intersection point for the inverse of f of x. We have 0 is to negative half, and then 1 is to 0. 1 is to 0 somewhere here. Positive 1 is to 0. Positive 1 is to 0. I'm not using a ruler. and then we'll have our negative half somewhere here. Sorry, here's our 1. So here is our 1. Before you plot, you must use a ruler. Fortunately, I can't use a ruler on my not live board. 1. So here, here is our negative 1 and our positive 1. And then now this one is the graph of the inverse of f of x. Let me write it smallest form. This is the graph of the inverse of f of x, which is equal to half x minus half. You see, that's how we draw the graph of f of x and its inverse. So you see here where they intersect, where these 2 points intersect here. Fortunately, I'm not using a ruler. I'll try to draw in my book where these 2 points intersect. Okay. I'll try to use this one. Okay, that will be it. The inverse of f of x, 1 over 2x minus 1 over 2. It's 1 over 2, that one. Then that will be it for today.